I truly don't know what's happening with America right now. You have Joe Biden that can't even pronounce his own name, and he's absolutely freaking clueless as he's walking around, literally taking this country into the freaking dumps. And then you have a guy called Gary Gensler who can't get his act straight. A couple of years ago, he was literally promoting blockchain. He was literally promoting cryptocurrency. Literally. 4 years ago, he was on stage talking to MIT colleagues, talking about how Algorand is such a great technology.
You could create Uber or Lyft on top of a blockchain technology today. Well, maybe in 5 years you could. It would have the performance. Sylvia McCally's Algorand, who's a Turing Award winner at MIT that I work with. Sylvia's got a great technology that has the performance. You could create Uber on top of it.
And just a couple of days ago, he files a suit calling 6 different cryptocurrencies a security. One of those cryptocurrencies happens to be Algorand. The question is, did he or did he not pull a Kim Kardashian? Did he or did he not pull an act of what he goes after people for? He literally promoted a cryptocurrency saying that this is a fantastic technology, and from that particular point in time, the cryptocurrency is down more than 90%. Where I'm going with this is this guy does not know his head from his ass, and obviously there is a puppeteer that is controlling him. There is no possible way this guy got into office with all of the freaking craziness that's happening right now. And it's absolutely absurd what's happening to this country and what's happening to this country in terms of thriving in technology and innovation. We are literally losing to everybody abroad. While we are not innovating, while we are not nourishing, and while we are not giving good, fertile environments for people to produce, innovate, and surpass the rest of the world is opening up with open arms. If you cannot develop blockchain technology, if you cannot be a cryptocurrency company in the United States, you will go somewhere else. And it's such a shame because cryptocurrency is one of the revolutions of our time. This is literally the internet all over again, and we are losing out. Right now, I will play you 2 clips. This is 2 clips of 2 different senators, Republican senators, that are absolutely grilling the shit out of Gary Gensler. First, the first senator is going to tell Gary Gensler, listen, why do you not have clear-cut regulations in place? You want people to file, however, you don't have actual rules of how people are supposed to file. If you guys have been following my videos, the CEO, Brian Armstrong of Coinbase, said, hey, we try to file, we try to regulate as per the regulations. However, there is no regulations. Brian Armstrong, the CEO of the largest American cryptocurrency exchange, and I believe the second largest in the entire world, is saying, listen, we want to play by the rules, but you are not giving us the rule book. And now this senator is grilling Gary Gensler saying, hey, how do you want people to follow regulations if there is no clear-cut regulations? And he's grilling him to ask him about Ethereum. Is Ethereum or Ethereum not a security? And Gary Gensler is literally shaking and does not know how to answer. And shout out to these senators that were literally grilling him, and not letting him get away with this. The second clip is going to be the House Whip. This guy is absolutely amazing. He literally destroyed Gary Gensler, called him out for meeting with Sam Bankman-Fried, called him out for the collapse of FTX, called him out for so many different things. In reality, definitely somebody is controlling Gary Gensler. I think this is a much larger thing that's happening right now, and I do think that in the future, Gary Gensler might be in trouble. There is no way that this guy is in charge of the SEC with no clear-cut regulations. It's absolutely insane what is happening right now. It is absolutely astonishing that we are where we are. We as a country are going down the drains. This is true. This is not political. This is what's happening right now. We were a world power. We still are the #1 world power. However, for the first time in the last 100 years, our dominance is definitely being questioned. One of the reasons why our dominance is being questioned is because of stifling of innovation like we have right now. I hope you guys enjoyed these clips, and I am so absolutely pissed off and fed up with what the fuck is happening in our country on various different levels. All in all, I think this is actually going to be very good for cryptocurrency, where we're actually going to get positive regulation for cryptocurrency. And this is setting everything up for 2024, when we're going to get a new administration. And hopefully with that new administration, we will get clear-cut guidance, and innovation will stay in the United States, because if it doesn't, we will lose. And nobody wants to lose in the United States. We take for granted what we have, and we must keep what we have. You only know what you have, and you only know what you have when you lose it. And I hope none of us understand this, and none of us lose our superiority in the United States. Thank you. Enjoy these clips. Gary Gensler gets absolutely shellacked.
Ether is one of the most popular digital assets and powers the Ethereum blockchain. Back in 2018, then SEC Corporation Finance Director Bill Hinman stated that he believed Ether was not a security. Last month, CFTC Chair Benham expressed his view that Ether is a commodity. The State Attorney General of New York asserted in a court filing last month that Ether is a security. Clearly, an asset cannot be both a commodity and a security. Do you agree?
Actually, all securities are commodity under the Commodity and Exchange Act. It's that we are excluded commodities. But I would agree that a security cannot be also an excluded commodity and an included commodity. I'm sorry, Chair, just to talk about the Commodity Exchange Act more precisely.
Okay, so do you recognize, how would you categorize Ether then?
Look, I think that the general sweep of what Congress did, not just in the 30s, but as amended.
I'm asking you,
years,
sitting in your chair now, to make an assessment under the laws as exist. Is Ether a commodity or a security?
Without speaking to any one.
I know you've
token,
repeatedly
it's
said
a
you're not
matter
going to
of
speak to one,
facts.
except you've spoken to one, Bitcoin. So I'm asking you to speak to a second one, the second largest market cap here.
And speaking to the tokens, there's 10 to 12,000. If there's a group of entrepreneurs in the
I'm asking
middle
about
that
one.
the public is anticipating a profit based on the.
I'm asking you a specific question, Chair Gensler. I said this in private. This should be no shock to you. I'm asking this question. Is Ether a commodity or a security?
And again, it depends on the facts and the law. And if there's a group of individuals.
I'm asking you about the facts and the law sitting in your seat and the judgment you are making.
And so, Mr. Chair, I think you would not want me to prejudge, because I'm also.
But you have prejudged on this. You've taken 50 enforcement actions. We're finding out as we go, as you file suit, as people get Wells notices on what is a security in your view, in your agency's view. I'm asking you a very simple question about the second largest digital asset. What is your view?
And my view is if there's a group of individuals in the middle that the public is
All
anticipating.
right, so let me just ask a
based
second
on those
question then.
efforts.
Do you think it serves the market for an object to be viewed by the commodities regulator as a commodity and the securities regulator to be viewed as a security? Do you think that provides safety and soundness for the product? Do you think it provides consumer protection? Do you think it serves the value of innovation? I think no should be a very simple answer for you here.
I think
that uncertainty is bad, is it not?
And I think that Congress has said that there's one agency, the Securities and Exchange Commission, under this committee.
And you won't answer my question, and you're the head of that agency. So give me a break. Come on.
I'm answering it in the generic because you would not want me to speak about any one set of facts and circumstance.
Okay, so, but you've already spoken. Have you said anything about Bitcoin?
My predecessors and the agency itself has spoken to them.
Okay,
Yes.
but you're not willing to do the same about Ether. Okay, so let me just step back. There's a lack of clarity here in the marketplace. Can you at least agree to that?
I think that the clarity is there. The law is clear.
All
that
right.
There's a group
So
of
let me
individuals
be
who rely on
explicit about this. The market doesn't see it. Your regulatory actions and the CFTC's regulatory actions say that there's a great deal of uncertainty here. It is the intention of this committee to fix that uncertainty and actually provide a sound legal basis for this.
Sir, I have a lot of questions and a limited amount of time. So if you could keep your answers to either a yes or a no, that will allow us to get through as many as possible, sir. From your perspective, is it more difficult now for the digital asset industry to access financial products and services in the United States than it was, say, 2 years ago?
Sir, I'm not running one of those businesses. If they came into compliance, I think that would
Reclaiming
be
my time. The answer, sir, is yes. Do you think you and the SEC have had a role to play in that?
I think we have a role to protect the American investor and the capital markets and the.
Reclaiming my time, sir. You have played an obvious role in that. During your tenure at the SEC, how many rules has the SEC finalized that actually accommodate the existing regulatory framework and are specifically to the digital asset industry so the crypto market can come into compliance?
It's their rule books that are on the books for years, so we have not finalized any new rule specifically with regard to crypto. We've proposed some things in best execution. We have also.
Sir, reclaiming my time, the answer is zero. And how many enforcement actions has the SEC levied against digital asset companies during your tenure, sir?
I think it's probably 40 or 50.
The answer, sir, is about 55. My understanding is that the biggest crypto failure in history is probably FTX at $9 billion. Were you the chairman of the SEC when FTX collapsed?
Yes.
And how many times did you meet with FTX prior to their collapse?
I think my public record shows 2.
You met with FTX at least twice. And arguably, the second biggest crypto failure in history was Terra Luna. Who was the chairman of the SEC when Terra Luna collapsed, sir?
We had brought.
You were, sir. Reclaiming my time, you were. There are 5 members on the commission. Do you believe your speeches and interviews are to serve as the official position of the SEC?
I can only speak for myself when I'm speaking.
Again, sir, in a statement on the SEC website, you are quoted saying the Kraken staking as a service enforcement action should make clear to the marketplace that staking as a service providers must register. But again, you haven't provided any rules for how that can be done. I must remind you, your public statements are not regulations. It's not responsible to expect the American people to assume your statements are a substitute for rules. Do you agree with this statement regarding the digital asset industry? The SEC needs additional congressional authorities to prevent transactions, products, and platforms from falling between the regulatory cracks.
I think that it's a largely non-compliant field. And
Sir,
we could use
again,
additional
I asked you to
resources.
comply with my questions, and I'm asking you if you agree with that quote. And I'm going to tell you, I'm quoting you from an August 3rd, 2021 article where you, and I believe you told Congressman Hill earlier that you need congressional authority to regulate stablecoins, and stablecoins happen to be a significant percentage of the crypto market. So the question is, when were you telling the truth? To Mr. Hill or to me? You've got to start answering these questions in a more transparent manner, sir. Does it concern you, by the way, that your approach to the digital asset industry is actually driving this industry out of the United States?
We're trying to drive it to compliance, and if they're not complying with the laws, then they shouldn't be offering their products.
Reclaiming my time. Madam Chair, I would like to enter into the record this Wall Street Journal article from April 14th, 2023, detailing China's ploy to open its banking system to crypto firms in an effort to seize an opportunity created by our hostile regulatory environment, which, Mr. Chair, you're a big part of.
Without
Look,
objection.
Chair Gensler, FTX was domiciled abroad and so is Binance, yet American consumers still had access to both. You can't really think that pushing this industry abroad is going to protect American consumers when it hasn't several times in the past on your watch. You say the crypto market is rife with non-compliance. However, existing SEC rules make no sense for blockchain-based companies, and following them would actually kill these businesses. Your regulatory style lacks flexibility and nuance, and as a result, You've been an incompetent cop on the beat, doing nothing to protect everyday Americans and pushing American firms into the hands of the CCP. Your intention to work against SEC mission and put American investors in harm's way has been made very apparent, sir. It's been a year and a half since you've appeared before this committee. You need to answer to Congress about the issues that you've had with the SEC staff union, the work environment you've cultivated at the SEC that's led to hemorrhaging of senior staff, the intellectual inconsistency of your regulatory treatment towards Bitcoin spot ETFs, and your politicization of capital formation opportunities through your treatment of certain SPACs. And that's just to name a few. Thank you. I yield.
Gentleman from New